Hey everybody, it's the dynamic duo, Carrie and Cristie, here to catch up. We're going to have a carnivore catch up and see what news we have to share. And I know Christie's got a lot. So,
I mean, how is there so much news, Carrie? It's only been 2 weeks.
hey, I know, but action packed. So I'm interested to hear. So go ahead, tell me. Well, I'll tell you a little thing, just one little
Okay.
thing. I have not had my follow up yet with that health coach that I had talked about the last time, because apparently my real age is 62. So I jumped up 4 years somehow. So I'm 58,
Right.
but because of that pesky old LDL, I guess that's the thing that pushed me over. But anyway, I'm supposed to actually speak with her tomorrow. And I'm just really trying to figure out, I don't want to be ugly, and I truly don't, because she's doing her job.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I just really want to ask her, do you truly believe, give her my stats and everything, tell her about my, fasting glucose being under 100, tell her about my A1C being 5.4, tell her about my fasting insulin being 3.8, my triglyceride to HDL ratio being an even 1 to 1, and of course my waist to height ratio and all of that, and then just say, do you really believe that those test results are right? I mean, but I want to find a way to say that in a way that's not ugly and sarcastic. I always try to be
Right.
kind to people, but this is something that's just kind of touchy to me. It just really irritated me when I got that result back.
Yeah. Well, it is kind of annoying because I think there's even studies out there that show people with higher cholesterol tend to live longer. Like, I can't quote them, I'm not the expert, but I've heard that out there that, it's even
Mm-hmm.
been shown. And like the people that go into the hospital who are having a heart attack, it's a bell curve distribution. Low cholesterol, high cholesterol, average cholesterol. It's a bell curve. Like, there's people with low cholesterol having heart attacks.
Mm-hmm.
So, as well as high, as well as everybody in between. So
Yeah.
it
So
just doesn't make a lot of
it's just going to
sense.
be hard for me to. I'm still trying to work it out in my head. If anybody's got suggestions, I would love to see them in the comments. Anybody has suggestions on just how I can bring it up because I certainly don't want to put her on the defensive, and I don't want to be insulting. But at the same time, I
Yeah.
want to get my point across. I want to
Well,
sincerely be nice and considerate. And maybe, like Cristie, you and I were talking backstage, and, it's like, well, maybe possibly by making her aware, it might at least make her think. So I
mhm.
certainly don't want her to think I'm some arrogant, extremist kind of person, conspiracy theory extremist wacko that's wears a tinfoil hat and trying against all things medical, because I'm certainly not. It has its place, but I I just, yeah, so that's one thing that I've just been thinking about, and now it's tomorrow, and I'm like, what in the world, how am I going to bring this up to her without um just sounding ugly?
Well, yeah, and she talks to people about this stuff on a daily basis, and I can only imagine the advice she's giving. Probably eat less fat, eat less, move more. Eat. Go ahead and eat the carbs. It's fine. Like, that kind of advice. Whole grains, right? That's probably the advice she's giving.
that
Not because she's a bad person, but that's the
Mhm.
advice I'm sure she's been told to give. So, I mean, if you could influence her at all to like move away from that advice, think of all the people that could potentially help. I
So
mean,
while I didn't come out and tell her that I was carnivore when I talked to her
mhm,
before,
mhm.
I mean, by the time you take away the stuff that I eliminated, all that's left is fatty red meat, basically, and fish.
Yeah, I
So
was gonna say the occasional sardine. I know you, Carrie.
yeah,
The occasional sardine sneaks its way in.
yeah, yeah.
Well, that's funny that you have some medical stuff coming up because so do I.
All right, well,
Um,
tell me about it.
so this is crazy. So I've been talking about this for a long time, like 9 months. I've been kind of dragging my feet a little bit, and if you've been watching me at all, and I know you know Carrie because we're friends, but I did find a low carb doctor near me, because what happened was when I got my blood work at the lady that's been my regular doctor, and I had never had like cholesterol or anything taken. So I've been on this diet, right? And I go in there and I'm like, let's do it. And I asked for the fasting insulin and the A1C and all that. And she's like, why? And I had to kind of tell her why. And she did order it, but what came back was that I'm a lean mass hyper responder with you were talking about the triglyceride to HDL ratio. Mine is 0, or 9 months ago. That's the last blood work I've had, but it was 0.85. Mm-hmm. And then my fasting insulin was 4.7 and my A1C was 4.7. Wow. But my LDL was well up over 400. Like on the test, it was just like greater than 400. It didn't even have a number. And so this is like, sorry if you guys know the story, but it's been 9 months since this happened. But my doctor, but I had some other issues. I had a little bit low vitamin D, and I had some thyroid numbers, which she did not do a complete panel. She only tested the TSH and the free T4, but my TSH was elevated, meaning could be a problem. And I wanted to talk about those things. I wanted to address those things. Mm-hmm. And she wanted nothing to do with that. She was like, change your diet or go on a statin. And I was like, okay, but I said, I'll address this with diet, but like, what about my thyroid, because I've had low thyroid symptoms since my 20s. I think a lot of my lack of energy was because my thyroid's probably been low since my 20s. And I don't like doctors. So nothing personal. I just don't like to go. It's not because of doctors. It's just not, I just don't do it. And so because of my symptoms, I'm pretty sure I've had this for a long time. And now that I had some numbers, I wanted to like look into addressing it. And she just wanted nothing to do with that. And so then 3 months after that, she calls me or not she, but her office, it's time for your blood work again. And I didn't even know that was going to happen. I was like, what? They're like, oh, doctor ordered more blood work. She wants to check your cholesterol again. And I was like, okay. So I think it was right around then that I looked for, I used some of I think it was Diet Doctor, I want to say, where you can type in like your location and you could try to find a low carb doctor. And I did find one that's a little further away, but still like 8 or 9 miles from my house. So pretty darn close. It's like a 15-20 minute drive, not too bad. And, but then I didn't call. Like I didn't call because I was like, I don't even know if she's taking new patients. Like I'm just done. I think I'm fine. But this thyroid thing is kind of bugging me, because if I need some hormone supplement, or if it's Hashimoto's, I probably should know that. Or if it's changed in the 9 months since I've continued to stay carnivore, I just kind of want to know. So I called, last Friday. I called one other time too, but didn't get a hold of anybody. But I called on Friday and I got the receptionist and I said, I asked if the doctor is taking new patients. Well, by my voice, I think, because we're just over the phone, she goes, well, she's not taking any new patients unless they're over the age of 65. And I was like, grr.
Right.
Darn it. And I think she could hear, I probably said something to that effect, because then her response was, well, do you want me to ask her? And I said, oh, please, would you please ask her? And then she said, so you're on the keto diet then? And I was like, oh, then my little wheels started turning, because I'm like, if I give her some interesting information, maybe she will be like intrigued and want to see me. Like maybe I'll get her curiosity going. So I said, actually, I'm on the carnivore diet, and I don't know how much research the doctor has done recently, but I'm also a lean mass hyper responder. So, I would love it if she would, take me on as the patient, just because my current doctor is only concerned about my cholesterol and nothing else. And I really I think I have some thyroid things to work out. So she said she would ask the doctor, and just yesterday I got a phone call that doctor is willing to take me on as a patient. So,
oh, congratulations!
Right? Thank you.
I know what happened. It was your real age that did it. You're probably 67 in real age, since you've got that high cholesterol. And
that high cholesterol, probably. Yep, I'm 48, but I'm probably 68. Like, kind of like how your age went up,
Yeah.
your little, yeah. And then she's like, yeah, I'll
It
see her.
just
She's
pushed you
old.
right over.
Pushed me right over into that demographic. And that's the real reason. Probably true. Oh my gosh. But
Well, she's
I'm
probably
just,
curious though.
I have to say, and she even reiterated, I told her that you eat the carnivore diet and that you're a lean mass hyper responder. She reiterated that to me. So she was listening. Like, she wrote it down. She was listening. I'm very sure she told the doctor.
Which that's
More,
impressive in itself, really.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. She was so nice. I even told her that. I said, my other doctor, like, personally, I like her. I'm not mad at her for what she said. I just know that's kind of how they're trained. She's a nice person, but like, her office staff is not nice. And that was like a big bummer about her office, is they're just kind of short and rude with you. But this lady, I'm like super excited because, yeah. And I told her that. I said, you're so helpful and friendly, and I appreciated that. But definitely more content to come. I went and changed my primary care provider on my insurance last night. They went ahead and pushed it through to make that change August 1st. They said normally, because it's after the 15th of the month, it wouldn't be till September 1st, but as a courtesy, they're going to do it for me August 1st, and I can make an appointment anytime after that. So I don't know what her lead time is on appointments. I do know when I have that appointment, it's going to be just like a meet and greet. She's going to check out my records, talk to me, find out what's going on. I'm happy to get a CAC. I'm going to tell her that, hey, my LDL cholesterol is whatever it is, like, you send me for a CAC and I'll go do that, but I'm not taking a statin. But I don't think she'll push a statin. She puts herself out there as a low carb doctor. On her little bio, it says she supports low carb and very low carb diets. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know if she's seen another lean mass hyper responder. I don't know if she's seen another carnivore. But yeah, once I get this going, you guys will definitely be some of the first to know. I'll definitely put out some
We're
content.
definitely gonna have to do a live and talk about that.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm like,
I'm very interested in what happens. And that's the thing I forgot to mention, which I've got to remember to mention to this health coach that I'm going to be talking to tomorrow, is that I do have a 0 CAC score, which that was they didn't even ask about those other results though in that real age test. I mean, it was mostly about your diet. Most of it was. I mean, it wasn't about like, and your cholesterol. I mean, basically that was what it was about.
Yeah. So, it's pretty crazy. To me, the narrow, it's like so narrow. Like, there's all this information and there's all that information, regardless of what that information is, but they don't even care about that information. They're like, if you're LDL, that's all we really want to.
Yes, I exercise every day in some form or fashion. I mean, I do all the right things that you would think, like, I do move, get up and move, get your steps in. And I do all that stuff too. So it's just, it's just so bizarre. I know what did it was all the red meat and the high cholesterol. That's what did it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's good that you just went ahead and told the truth with this new doctor. I figured maybe being carnivore would get me in, but also, hey, let's just be upfront. I know I'm not going to take the statin. That, man, did I go through like a little crisis on the inside, that when I got those cholesterol numbers back, and it's like, you've seen all the stuff by Dave Feldman, Nick Norwitz, but then it's you and you're like, oh gosh,
exactly.
Like, that's really high. And you kind of go through this, but I'm like, I'm not going to take the statin. I'm confident about that now. Like, and that's the first time I've ever like bucked the doctor's orders. Like, after she told me to get blood work again, I just didn't go. I'm like, nope, I'm not doing it, because she's just going to look at the LDL again. So I'm confident with, like, I want to work with my doctor, but I don't want to be like told what to do, So
right, because your doctor daddy or your doctor mama,
my doctor mama, because it's a girl. But I don't need a doctor mama. I need a partner to help me out with my health, and I'll work with them, but I don't want to be dictated to that this is what you will do. And so anyways, that's something that's super exciting. I just posted a video today, Carrie. I'm going to change the subject. I don't know if you saw it, but you guys, I finally got my half beef. The cow that I ordered from the local rancher. Like 6 months later, I placed that order January 26th. And
wow.
If the reason why it took, it was going to take 3 months. If I had just ordered grass-fed grain finished then, I would have had my meat in April. But I ordered grass finished, and then I tasted some of that grass finished meat and I didn't like it, so I changed my order to grass fed grain finished, which is why it took some extra time. But yes, if you guys want to know, I have posted that video on my channel. It tells all the ins and outs. I have I got 127 pounds of meat. That's not a half a cow. That's a sixth of a cow. My mom got 127 pounds of meat, and my brother got 127 pounds of meat.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was more than I thought. And I think it worked out to, it was under $6 a pound.
Oh, see, that's fabulous. And that's great meat. Great quality meat.
Yeah, great quality meat. I'm supporting a local rancher. It's not like some KFO farm. In that video, I put some pictures of the actual ranch. You can see like where the cows are and how they live. So, I mean, I feel super good about it. And that's the price. I mean, unless ground beef goes on sale, that's pretty much the price of ground beef. And I got about, I don't know, a half or so, a little less than half ground beef, and then half like steaks and roasts. And then I got the extra fat trimmings, which is a thing you can ask for. I got the soup bones. That kind of
there
thing.
You go.
So when you do that, it's really cool because you can customize how you want your cuts, and then you can ask for all that extra stuff. They'll ask you if you want it. I mean, it's all in my freezer. I filled up my freezer pretty good. Like I don't have any room for anything else. But my mom got a new freezer, 16 cubic feet. Freezer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I think next time we're going to be able to get a whole cow and like split it between the three of us. So
that's fabulous. I've still got to get my storeroom cleaned out. My son, I'm recruiting him to do it. I'm very careful about when I ask him for favors. I mean, it's not that he wouldn't do things for me, but I mean, he's married and has his own life, and plus, I don't want to be that mother-in-law to my daughter-in-law that's like, well, your mom always, so I'm not going to, you know what I'm saying? There's no conflict between us, but I just don't want to be that person. So I'm very selective. But also he was working on his project car. And I think I told y'all about
last time you were saying, yeah.
So he's got some time. Well, I take that back. He sort of had some time left, but then he got this Denali. It had some engine problems and transmission problems, but so he got it for a really good price, and so he's fixed it up now for his lovely wife, and so she's going to be riding in style. It's just got the engine has to be programmed somehow that he still, even though he was able to fix it all himself, there's technical equipment that you have to hook up to it to specifically program it to do certain things. And so he's got to take it to the dealer for that purpose. And then it'll be ready for her to drive. And so then my grandson is getting the car because he just turned 16. Cristie.
No way. That is crazy. Yep. So does he already have his license? Because my son is like, we're getting ready to get that with my younger son.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's gotten his full license yet. He just turned 16, but he's had his permit and he's been driving and he's been taking the driving lessons and stuff. So he's getting ready to have his own car. That's exciting. That's cool. So a lot of good things happening here.
My son.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah. Well, no, I was just going to say I do have someone close to me that I'm really I want to just shake him and tell him that he needs to do carnivore. He's got some health issues going on, and I know that it would help him, or at the very least go, low carb.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't feel like he can do that, I don't guess. I mean, he's seen the changes. And I have, of course, converted my brother. He's just about carnivore. But, I mean, this is someone else that's close to me. And I'm just like, dang it, dude. So it's frustrating. I definitely get it when people ask that question. How do I get somebody to? And so basically, I'm just, at this point, I'm just going to continue doing like Dr. Berry says and just live by example. But it is frustrating. But I think you might have influenced someone in your life. So tell me about that.
Yeah. So actually I'll start with the one that I'm still working on. We didn't talk about this before the show, but Yeah, my father-in-law got kind of a hard diagnosis recently,
Mm.
and it's pulmonary fibrosis. And if you don't know about that, you can go look it up. Or tomorrow, I'm going live with someone who also has that condition, and the doctors really, there comes a point where the doctors can't do anything more for you. And this man that I'm going to be interviewing tomorrow went carnivore and has actually noticed some improvement in his symptoms, and that's like not supposed to happen. So I'm interviewing him tomorrow. My father-in-law knows about that interview, and so and I've, of course, that's not the only, like, I've been working on this, and it's funny because my husband has been immersed in this, like, through kicking and screaming, like, because I'm just doing it, right? I'm watching all the Dr. Barry and the live streams, and then he just hears carnivore, keto, whatever, proper human diet talk in his ear, and he's just been hearing that for the last year. So even though he, up to now, had not changed his diet at all, still eating all this time standard American diet, but when I would be talking to his parents, because his mom and stuff would ask me, and all of a sudden here he comes chiming in, and he's not wrong. Like, he has the facts all right because he's been listening. I mean, it's pretty hilarious. And obviously he knows his parents better than I do. And so I would explain something, and then he would, yeah, because blah, 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 from whatever he's been hearing.
Wow.
Wasn't even doing it himself and was totally able to explain it to them. So anyways, I will let you know if my in-laws, switch over to keto, carnivore, any proper human diet would be so amazing for them. I'll let you know. But you guys, my husband has like switched to what I would say proper human diet. So this is a story, and I'll probably do a dedicated video to this. So this is an exclusive, Carrie, because I haven't done this video yet because I had to make the beef video. I made my son's 6-month update video, which we can talk about in a minute. So I've been very busy making those videos. And this development with my husband is super recent. And honestly, it's really shocked me. So he's been eating straight up standard American diet. We're talking all the processed foods, like frozen burritos, frozen pizza, crackers, graham crackers, saltines, I'll be specific, chips like Doritos, all ice cream, all of that stuff. And, he can eat a lot of it, and he's not like highly overweight. I mean, he has a little bit of a belly, but like hardly at all. He can just eat like all the fast food, French fries, all of that, and not really put on a lot of weight. I mean, but he's he's a little younger than me, but just by like 4 months. And he's noticing something. 4 months. Dang it. I have to be 4 months older. So he's my age, right? But he's been snoring, which doesn't annoy him. It annoys me. And then he tells me he thinks it's me snoring, and I'm just hearing myself snore. I'm like, buddy, you are snoring.
You need recording.
Right. And so, he's been snoring. He's got some aches and pains in his joints, heartburn, pretty bad, almost every day. And he's had some things, some anxiety, and I don't want to get too much into his mental health because he probably wouldn't want me to share that, but some mental health too, that he's just kind of had, his whole life. Mm-hmm. And so, finally, after me, I want to be the lighthouse, not the foghorn, but like, he lives with me. And in this house, it's like, he just hears it. Like, I'm just always on YouTube. I'm either making content like this, or I'm watching it, or I'm like excited about something new I learned. And so I blabber on about it. And so, yeah, so he's just been hearing all this stuff. And so he told me, I'm going to go low carb. That's what he told me. And then he was asking for advice. And I said, well, I think Dr. Barry talks about, the proper human diet and the whole spectrum, right? Going from low carb down to like lion diet, and low carb meaning like definitely no more than 100 grams a day, and like focusing on whole food. If you go over 100 grams, I've heard Dr. Barry say that's like too many for anyone. So he's like, all right, 100 grams. But I told him that's not a target. Yeah. if you've had 80 and you're not hungry, stop. You're not like, oh, I'm gonna eat 20 more carbs, and your carbs need to come from whole foods, like whatever carbs you're having. So we had that whole discussion, right? And then he did it, and he was like, all right. And then now it's so funny because lately he's been really expressing like he just needs me to stop talking about, like, we needed to talk about some other things, right? But now every single day, what does he have to tell me? He sends me pictures of his food he's making, and he tells me how many carbs he's had, right? And so it didn't take very long. He is nowhere near 100 carbs. I mean, I think one day he had a little bit of a splurge day, and he didn't go over 100. And this is coming from a man, when I tell you, I would estimate that he was having 400 or 500 carbs a day. And I'm not kidding.
Wow.
Because it was like Coke, Coca-Cola, all the other stuff I already said. He has beer from time to time. It just, I'm pretty sure it was there. So to go down to 100 is a pretty big change. And he threw the crackers in the trash, Carrie. He put them in a trash bag and threw them out. I'm like, whoa. And he would run out of crackers and lose his mind. Not lose his mind, but he would have to go to the store and buy them. If
he would be jonesing for some crackers.
He would be jonesing for the crackers, and he would go buy his own crackers if I didn't get them in the grocery order and they weren't in the cupboard. Yeah. Because I don't keep tabs on them since I don't eat them. And if he would forget to tell me, then he'd go get them. So yeah, he threw them away, and then he was like, I'm doing this. And I was just like, okay, do it. So yeah, it didn't take very long. But he was really when he first started, this is hilarious, but he was dead set on keeping his bananas. He was like, I'm like, well, bananas are a whole food, but let me tell you, they're pretty high glycemic. I looked up the carb count for them. I said, here it is. It's 18 to 20, somewhere in that range. Just keep that in mind, that and you see, he goes, okay, well, I won't eat 2. I'll just eat 1. He's been eating a banana a day since he was a baby. There's a story in our family that the cashier at the grocery store asked his mom, when his mom was grocery shopping when he was a baby, do you have a monkey or something? Because she would buy 2 giant bunches of bananas every time she'd go to the store. So he has eaten at least 1, but a lot of times 2 bananas every single day for his whole life, okay? So he wasn't going to give those up. And I was like, I'm not going to push the bananas. You threw the crackers away. Great. Keep the bananas. You threw the crackers away. Processed junk is gone. No more frozen pizza. We're not talking about if it fits your macros, eat it. We're not he got rid of the frozen burritos, the frozen pizza, all that stuff. And he's like, I'm just going to do meat, veg, and I'm going to have my banana, right? Is what he told me. And so he started in on that, and it did not take long before, and I literally, 2 days, and he was like, I'm just not hungry, and I'm just going to have 1 meal today. And here it is. And then it was he was taking pictures of these meals, Carrie. They were carnivore meals. There was a couple keto meals with some veg in there. And then he would make these carnivore meals. And then this one day, maybe 4 days in, he's only a week and a half in. Okay.
Okay.
So
okay. I was going to ask how long it's been.
Yeah. Maybe a week and a half. Maybe it's been about a week. I don't really know. He told me the date. I should put it in my calendar because I can't remember. But the weights just started falling off a pound a day. Because he's
funny how seriously with guys that happens a lot. They drop it like that. They'll stop drinking beer or something, and their weight just falls off.
Just falls off. So, and I told him, I said, you're going to lose whatever weight you want to lose. You're going to lose. No problem. And then the other thing that 3-4 days in, he's like, my heartburn is almost gone. And I was like, yep, that's one of the very first things that goes away. I'm still waiting for the snoring. We'll see if that snoring goes away. But I do have some pictures to share, but I'll do that in a minute of his food. Okay. But the bananas, okay? The bananas. Because in the picture, you're going to see some of his bananas in one of these pictures, okay? There was a day where he had made himself bacon and eggs for breakfast. It was a big plate of bacon and eggs. And he does all his own cooking. He just cooks it for himself.
And that in itself is fabulous.
Right? And he just does it because we don't eat the same. He even has told me I could not do steak every day. And I'm like, well, I can, and I pretty much do. He doesn't want to do that. He wants to do shrimp and eggs and bacon with some chuck roast and some picanha. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I do a lot of picanha and a lot of ribeyes. So whatever, but he just makes what he wants. So he had bacon and eggs for breakfast. He was getting ready for work. And he had eaten that, and then he went to go do a couple things, and he was feeling good. He said he was feeling good. Then he went and had his banana. He got this blood sugar. I wish he had been wearing a CGM. He's like, look at me. And he was shaking. He was like, oh my gosh. And he threw the bananas in the trash.
Wow.
So
So
bananas.
he felt it though.
Gone.
He felt, and the
Felt it.
reason he felt it is because all of that other stuff had been eliminated from his diet. He was eating
Yes.
the good, nutritious stuff, and his body was able to tell him then, I've been trying to tell you to get rid of these bananas.
Yes. He was like, my heart's kind of pounding. I said, your blood sugar spiked, your insulin spiked, and now you're probably either crashing or whatever. Like I said, I wish he had a CGM. And that day he threw the bananas in the trash. And he said, don't buy me anymore. And I was like, dang.
But you know what? When they start sending you pictures and doing things like that, you know that they are really changing. Like that's what's happened with my brother. And I really, I would talk about it a little bit with him, mainly because like when we would go out to eat together and stuff, I would just get like the steak and eggs, for example, or I would get, the traditional bunless burger, and just eat very non-complicated foods, and of course no vegetables and all that. And so he noticed, and he knew that my anxiety had gotten, well, I mean, it's eliminated now. I mean, he knew keto had helped it, but my brother started sending me pictures of his food too. And I mean, it's carnivore meals. The vast majority of them are carnivore meals. And so it's like, yeah, if I'd say he's probably ketovore right now. And then he told me the last time I saw him, he said, he used to like to eat peanut butter sometimes. And so he said that he had put some peanut butter on a pork rind and might have eaten, I don't know if he ate just one. I don't remember how many he ate exactly, but I mean, he told me he put peanut butter on pork rinds and ate them. And he said that he woke up in the night feeling terrible. And so it's like the same thing, his body was telling him, you don't need that peanut butter.
You don't need that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's amazing.
I mean, at the beginning, he was like 100 carbs. I'm telling you, he's like, today I only had, what did he say? Yesterday he ate all carnivore for dinner because he was like, I only had like 5 carbs today because, he knows that heavy cream does not have 0, even though it says 0. So I taught him how to count that. And he goes, just the heavy cream in my coffee. And otherwise, it's like his one meal was like, I don't remember what he ate. I think it was like shrimp and bacon wrapped shrimp. And I don't remember what there was like picanha, leftover picanha. And that was his dinner. And then he's like, I can't even finish this. And then he put it in the fridge. I was like, proper human diet. But I want to share those pictures with you so you can see, because it was like, he was going to do 100. And now I'd say most days he's well under 50 because every day I get to hear the carb count. He's like, I only had 20 today. I only had 30 today, and it's like from vegetables if he's having them. So he'll have his like keto days. But yeah, at first he was like, I don't care if I'm in ketosis. I don't want to be keto. I just want, this is like the kind of stuff he was telling me. So, but yeah, it's like his body told him, and yeah, I'm going to present my screen. So I have like just 5 and he sent me more, but I just grabbed a few real quick before this. So let me do
I'm
that.
saying this is worth a big huzzah.
Go, 100%.
Your hubby gets a huzzah.
Yeah. Okay. So this is one of his, for sure. I'm not at the beginning. I'll have to go backward and then forward. Here's the bananas he threw away. He had 4 left. He threw them away. But this was some chuck roast, some eggs with some bacon, and then he switched from Coke to like the bubbly sparkling water. So he doesn't drink. He just gave up soda like it was nothing.
Wow. That's incredible too, because that's hard to give up.
I know. I haven't totally given up my diet soda. Like I haven't had one today, and there will be days where I don't have any, and then I'll go out to lunch and have one. You know what I mean? I can't say it's 100% gone, but for him, he's just like, nope, I'm not drinking it. These are the Teton all beef, like grass-fed sausages wrapped with bacon and topped with a bunch of cheese. I was like, oh, next time you make me some of that. That looks delicious. This was one of the very first things he did. So you can see that there's some yellow peppers and some zucchini in there, but this is like ground beef. And then he also cooked up some shrimp. That he did. Okay, that's the beginning. I'll have to fast forward now past the other ones again. Okay. This was also one of the first days where he crisped up some bacon, he melted some cheese, and then plopped some guacamole on top. And then this one is he had like the leftover sausage. This was like a leftover of that Teton sausage, bacon wrapped Teton sausage and cheese. And then he just made up a mess of eggs. So, I mean, look at that food, you guys. That's just like 5 of them. He's been sending me pictures, almost everything he's been eating. So when I make the video, I'll put in some more. But yeah, it's been crazy how, like, I thought, okay, he'll go to 100, he'll be at 100 for a while, and then he might like, nope, it was like 100 on like the first day, and then he was like, nope, enough of that, and he just.
That is incredible. That's just wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets a big Dr. Barry huzzah too.
Huzzah,
Yeah.
I know, and I think because the heartburn is gone, he's lost like 5 pounds. We'll see. I'm like crossing my fingers that he gets a few more benefits that he will start to notice, maybe with his joints or his mental health, and then that will like seal the deal,
Yeah. Well,
So
all right. That's some excellent news.
Super exciting.
Excellent. So did you want to talk a little bit about your son? Because
yeah,
you've got a whole lot of it. You're just changing your whole family.
I know. And I feel like, I know Nia and I are doing a video that I called Lighthouse Not Foghorn, because I'm like, I got to share all this stuff, and I don't know what she's going to say, but yeah, that's coming up in like a week or so, because I'm just like, I'm almost humbled because I started this in February of 2023 keto, and then June of 2023 carnivore. And a couple people followed me kind of right away. And then it was like nobody. Everybody was just annoyed, like, shut up already, Cristie. We know you like meat. Go away. Like, they didn't say that, right? But nobody, some people would be curious, but then they would never start it, or they would, whatever. But yeah, recently it's like, boom, 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 all these people. And I just I look around and I've just like kind of taken stock, and I've just been like a little bit humbled and kind of amazed, because I affected them, and hopefully it's helping them. And one of those people is my son. So he's 15. He'll be 16 in September. He doesn't have his permit yet. We got to work on that. But I think now that he's proper human diet, he'll be able to do that, because we talked about it all last year and he kind of dropped the ball. Like they would send him an email and he would like not check his email. It's like first come, first serve, because it's free through his school, but you have to jump on these emails. And and get ready. And he would like, oh, I'd like check my email, and then they sent it, but it had been like 2 weeks, and then it was too late. Like, it was like that. And it was like that the whole school year, So we'll see if he can't get one in September or October. I told him I would just buy him the class, because we just really got to get him going. But anyway, so in February, he had been watching me do this basically for a year, right? If you count my keto months, but he had watched me start sprinting. He had watched me like go to an amusement park with him and not be like whining about it. He had watched me go to his, the football games and cheer him on. He was in the, is in the school band, and not be like, I'm sleepy, because he knows mom's bedtime is, between 8 and 9 o'clock, but I'd be up there at the football game, staying up late, and not be, falling asleep, not be complaining that I was tired. He'd obviously heard all the same stuff as my husband, all the talking about it. He'd watched me start to exercise and all that stuff. So, and then it was like later on, I started learning about that this way of eating can be super helpful for mental health. And he has ADHD, and it's a pretty severe case. And Carrie, I feel like I made a 6-month update video, and I almost want to do a response video to some of the comments that I got, which were mostly positive, but like, I'm going to address one right now. So I got one comment that is basically saying that it was a false diagnosis. Like, it's because he doesn't really have ADHD, and that's why. And I'm like, okay. Okay.
They were nice. Understand people.
They weren't mean, but I was like, did you listen to the first 12 minutes of the video? Because I gave an overview of his symptoms, and believe me when I tell you, that was an overview. I'm a teacher. I've been a teacher for 25 years. I have closely worked with at least 100 students over my career diagnosed with ADHD. And I can tell you that my son is within the top 2 or 3 of the most severe cases I've seen. So I'm not a doctor, and I cannot diagnose it, but I've worked with these children closely. I know what it looks like. I know what the symptoms are. And he is one of the most severe cases I've ever seen, as far as because of his emotional dysregulation. And I really think that he also has ODD, which is oppositional defiance disorder. So whether you believe that's some people think that's not a real disorder. I mean, it's there. I mean, it's real in the sense that it exists as far as like doctors go, but some people just think, oh, your kid's just being a brat. But he was definitely of the mindset that, so if you don't believe in that disorder, like he's definitely of the mindset that if an adult in authority told me to do it, then I'm for sure not going to do it. And if they try to make me do it, then I'm going to rebel against that. And I'm going to throw a fit, and I'm going to throw things, and I'm going to punch things. And yeah, he would just get like that. If you told him to do something, he didn't do it, and then you tried to enforce that. And it's if you have ADHD, you are about 60% likelihood to also have ODD. So it's not like everybody with ADHD has that, but they kind of do go hand in hand a lot of the time. I did not have him diagnosed with ODD, but I for sure see, like I probably could have. I just didn't want another label on him. But it was very severe. That aspect of it was very severe. To the extent that there was an incident and I didn't take either of my children to any family events for 3 years because there was an incident at a family event, and I'm going to leave it at that. And I did not take my 2 children to any, not Christmas, not Thanksgiving, not anything. If I went by myself. So it affected our lives. It's affected our lives severely. Because he has had these emotional outbursts and this refusal to do anything from clean your room to take a shower to brush your teeth to get ready for school. Things that should just kind of be a normal part of the day that you shouldn't even really have to think twice about. It was like an epic struggle. And he wouldn't do it. Like he wouldn't do it in a timely manner. He would get to school, but extremely late. All that kind of stuff. And that it was not just, well, he kind of can't sit still and kind of can't pay attention. That's not what we're talking about. His performance in school has actually I have not seen an improvement there really yet. Except he had to go to summer school, and then he excelled at summer school, but summer school is it's different. So we're going to see, we start school in a couple of weeks. We're going to see how it goes coming up here. But, so let me tell you that in February, or just before that, at the end of January, I said, look, I've got this way of eating that I've been doing. You've seen how it's helped me. I'm now learning that it can really help people with things like, mental health things, and ADHD is one of those things. Do you think you want to try it for 30 days to see if it helps you? Because I'm doing this because he's 15, right? He can get any food he wants. The food at the school cafeteria is free for breakfast and lunch. And it's horrible food. And he can just go get that. And so you have to have buy-in from him. He's not 3. I can't just say, here's your food, eat it. I can't do any of that. But he did agree. He agreed to try it for 30 days with the stipulation of, ice cream is going to be hard to give up, he said. And I was like, we'll figure something out, but okay. And so, yeah, we started in, and I mean, a lot of you have probably heard this, but so I won't belabor it, but basically he cleaned his whole room out, threw a bunch of stuff away, like 20 bags of trash, because his room was like a hoarder level, you guys. Within the first week, he just, on his own, like I didn't tell him, he just did it. He cleaned it all out. And over the next couple of weeks, he organized like he got the closet part done. He got the under the bed done. He got his stuff organized. And then 1 or 2 times since then, he just kind of did like a tidy up, like a straighten up. Like he just would come out of his room and be like, I'm going to clean my room today. And then he would just re-tidy it up as it had gotten messy.
Oh my gosh.
And then this is new. This is not in the update. This is brand new information. Yesterday or the day before yesterday, he was cleaning his room again. And I was like, okay. He's like, yeah, I've been cleaning my room. I'm like, okay, cool. Cause I was picking up my beef. I had gone to pick up my half beef. I went to lunch with my mom, picked up my half beef, came home. He's like, yeah, I've been cleaning my room. I'm like, okay. At this point, it didn't really surprise me, but he went through all of his clothes, which he hadn't done. And he made a bag. These clothes are in good shape. I can give these to my cousins who are smaller than me. These clothes are in really rough shape and they're too small. So those go in the trash, and everything else I'm going to hang up, and they're color coded. Color coded, Carrie.
Man.
So yeah.
Holy moly.
He made a big bag to give to his cousins. His closet is color coded, and he organized all of his drawers. Like what? And this is a new thing too, not in the 6-month update video. He invited a friend over to come hang out. He has never done that a day in his life. He invited a friend over to come.
Cristie, that is amazing. That is wonderful.
Yep.
That is wonderful.
He
Oh
doesn't. He
man.
showers on his own. This is in the update video. I used to have to be like, take a shower, and then he might or might not take a shower, and then 2 days later, I still might be telling him to take that shower, and he might or might not have done it. And by the third time I've told him to take a shower, and he hadn't, I know you've already told me. Why are you keeping on talking to me about this? And he'd be like, it's my fault. I'm like, just take the dang shower.
Right.
He just showers on his own. Like he went and showered today of his own. Like he just went and showered. Like I don't tell him. I have not had to tell him to shower one time in 6 months. And that was like a daily occurrence, or brush his teeth. So many things have gotten better. Yes, he has ADHD. No, it's not cured. I'm not saying it's cured. At the end of my video, maybe this is what prompted the comment. I said but I said it in a particular way. He is no longer suffering with ADHD. Like he has ADHD, but the suffering has been the suffering for him, for the family. It's just amazing.
Well, it could be like diabetes or anything, the tendency is still there, but because of the dietary changes, it's just suppressed. It's not expressing itself. Right. And that's just wonderful. Oh my gosh. And he's having a friend come over.
Yeah. He invited a friend over. A friend I've never met yet. He goes, I forget the name of his friend, but he's like, it's so-and-so. He told me his name. He said, you don't know him yet or whatever. I'm like, okay, well, he can come over. That's fine. And then he asked me like, and how long can he stay? Usually it would be like, he was like considering all the details, how long can he stay? And I said, well, I'm not going to cook food for your friend because you don't probably eat like your friend and whatever. So he can come like right after lunch and leave about dinner time. Does that sound good? Yeah, that sounds good. Like no arguing, no negotiation. It was really cool. So yeah, I'll let you guys know how that goes. That's on this coming Saturday. And then I'll keep you posted as school starts up again, because that's the one thing, he failed a couple classes. He had to go to summer school. He got A+ in summer school for those classes, but summer school is it's just different. It's more his style because it's like quick and to the point. It's not long and drawn out. And so he went there, sat his butt down. Well, one was online and one was at the school. But anyway, he got A+ in math and English. Summer school.
I'm willing to bet, though, that there will at least be some improvement in the regular school.
I think this is something that's going to take longer. And, he is not like school his whole life. And I'm talking since day one. So it's, and he's got that little bit of, if the adult says to do it, I'm not going to do it. And there's definitely teachers that cannot separate the behavior from the kid. There's teachers that love him because he is the sweetest kid, but he has these behaviors and those behaviors are annoying. Nobody likes them, but there's been teachers that can separate that and that tell me how amazing he is and how smart he is. He just needs to blah, 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 and I'm like, I know. And then there's teachers that are just like, you can just tell they don't like him. They don't want him there. And he can tell that too. And that honestly makes it worse because he behaves way worse.
Yeah. It does turn into a vicious cycle.
It does. So anyway, I hope there's some more good news coming. I'm hoping because he's weaned himself off sweets, Carrie. He used to eat I made him like these keto cookies and he would eat one every day. He's just like, doesn't eat them anymore. Like they're there. They're still in the freezer. He just doesn't. He's just weaned himself off sweet taste. Like I didn't tell him not to. I didn't tell him that bad or anything. He just doesn't go in there.
But so many people when they start carnivore, for example, they talk about getting up doing things, when they normally wouldn't. They talk about having this they feel like walking or exercising in some way. Yep. They feel like maybe working on additional projects, like even after they've worked all day, just various things like that. It's like your body is just, it is changing. It's different. It's got those nutrients that it needs. And it's like, thank you. Now we can get some stuff done.
Yep.
And your brain, I just know my brain has been very happy with what I've been eating. Like, it's like, it's just, I'm more relaxed and calm about things. I've talked about this before. I've had several just various situations happens. Oddly enough, several of them involving water, like water in my yard, water in my bath, water in the floor, that kind of thing. But I didn't panic, or I was just able to think through it. And even with work, I'm able to concentrate better.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just going from like ketovore down to carnivore. This
Yep.
isn't even factoring, like, things had gotten better, quite a bit better with keto. So
Yep.
I am so happy, Cristie. That just warms my heart because, now this, he's able to blossom now. He's able to branch out, and he's able to reach out to friends, and
Mm-hmm.
that's an amazing thing to be
And
able to just to shine like that.
And the cool part for me, I just thought of this. I've never thought this before, but he doesn't watch Dr. Berry. He doesn't know any of the science. He doesn't know
Uh-huh.
any of the information. He just knows mom said this could be good for your ADHD. Want to try it? Yes. I make him the food, he eats the food, and this is what happens. It's not like he heard somebody say this is, you know what I'm saying? Like, he has
Mm-hmm.
not heard from anybody other than just like what, he's watched me. But yeah, he doesn't like watch the YouTube or understand why it should work, or, he hasn't read Brain Energy like I have by Dr. Chris Palmer, or, none of that stuff. But so it's not like he heard about it and then, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? It's just,
Yeah.
he eats the food, and these changes are happening, and I'm continuing to see these changes, and he doesn't think it's a big deal. He's super nonchalant about it. I told him his update video has like 2,700 views, and he's like, why? I'm just a kid with ADHD. Like, it's not a big deal.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, well, you also were in it. Like, he doesn't see how severe that is when he's like losing his mind at school. Like, in third grade, it was a really tough year. I said this in the video. There was another student with similar symptoms. So I think they fed off of each other in that classroom. But there were, I think, at least 2 occasions where he was flipping out and the whole class evacuated the classroom because he wouldn't leave. He wouldn't leave. So they left. And that's the policy. So he's that kid. He was that kid with that severe of whatever sets him off. I mean, when I say set off, I mean, set off.
Mm-hmm.
And so but to him, he probably doesn't even remember that incident, because when he would have these severe incidents and then he would come back down, he would not remember like behaving that way or doing those things. He would literally not remember it. And so I don't think that I don't think for all of us watching him from the outside, we can see these amazing changes. But for him, it's like he just knows that he kind of feels better, but he doesn't, I don't know. He just doesn't, he's like, I mean, yeah, he agrees that it makes him feel better and he's stuck to it, but he doesn't think it's like this huge change or anything that the rest of us, his teachers, me, my husband, his grandparents, can all see,
He must feel a lot better, because for a 15-year-old kid to change the way they eat like that. And of course, initially he did agree to do the trial period, but then he must have felt better, or enough better to keep going. And then he kept feeling better and better and better. And then all of these things.
Yeah.
So now I think his motivation is probably like about anybody else who has started it and then noticed the benefits. It's like, oh, I feel too good to go back. I don't want to, feel crappy again. I want to keep having friends over, and I want to, feel like doing more things. And so that's just fantastic. I'm so happy for y'all, Cristie. That is just, oh man.
So just one to go. I got one family member to go, Carrie. We're 3/4 carnivore in this house, basically, or, proper human diet. My husband's not totally carnivore, but yeah, we're like 3/4 proper human diet. I just got one kid to go. He doesn't want to do it. I just asked him the other day, and he's like, no, I don't want to.
He might end up doing it.
He might.
He just might.
Hey, I didn't think my husband ever would, because he was so annoyed with this whole YouTube thing. He was just like, we would go somewhere and he would like make sure it was a place where I could get a steak or a burger. Like, he would support me like that. Like, if we went on a date or whatever, and we were just in Vegas for a week, and, he planned all the restaurants. He checked all the menus ahead of time. He looked at like what he thought I could have, and then he would make the reservation based on that. So he's supportive in that sense. And he doesn't like say like, you know, I don't think you should be doing this, but he's just annoyed that it's kind of become, you know, it's like my hobby. After I teach all day, I come home and do this. And so it was just, so I didn't think, I just thought because of that, he wouldn't. And now I think now that he's doing it and seeing the benefits himself, I think he's in. Who knows? You might see him on a video one of these days with me.
That would be cool. I think a lot of people would be interested. I would like to get my brother to be on a video with me.
That would be cool.
I'm trying to get him to. I've sort of approached it in a joking way at first, just to see, because if he said like, well, HE double hockey sticks, no, then we would know that no, he wouldn't do it. And he was just like, you know, so he didn't like seem averse to it. So
okay,
I'll maybe ask him in a more direct. I was just sticking my toe in the water there to see if he would do it, you know.
I mean, my mom has done a couple of videos with me. I haven't posted the short of our lunch yet. We had lunch before we went to pick up the beef, but she did those interviews with me, Robin, Carnivore's grandma Robin, and her mom and me and my mom, and those were fun. And she did the first one. She was super nervous, and then it was like we were going to do a sequel, and she was totally down. She was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And so you could tell she kind of liked it after we got through one. So it was cool. That was really cool that she came on and kind of talked about her experience, and that was neat. That because my mom was a teacher, but now that she's retired, you know, it's like we don't have that to really talk so much about anymore. Although she's teaching summer school, Carrie. My 71-year-old mom, who is Proper Human Diet now,
Mom,
over a year, has enough energy to teach summer school at 71 years old. She's teaching summer school at her old school where she retired from.
Yeah, go mom.
Go mom.
She still got it.
Yeah, she does. She's incredible. And then she came down and got the meat, and she's like lifting all that meat, you know, it's heavy. Yeah. So.
Oh man. See, I'm just so happy to hear all that good news.
Yeah, awesome. Me too. I feel like I talked the whole time. Do you have anything more to share, Carrie? I've just been flapping my
I actually would have had more to share if we were doing this like Friday night, because I wanted, you know, because I knew that the coaching thing was, you know, they call once a month. And so I knew that was coming up. And when I looked on my calendar, I was like, oh, crap, the coaching is after our catch up.
We should have waited a couple more days.
I was like, well, yeah, I guess so. Well, but here's the thing. Like, I know we've got book club tomorrow. Well, we normally have it on Thursday. But then because Kim is working, I think we're going to actually end up doing that Friday. So I don't know, trying to keep schedules straight. So, I mean, but this just means that we can do another carnivore catch up. And then maybe I'll talk a little bit more the next time, but I think I talked enough. And I'm just enjoying being happy for you.
I mean, I usually don't have, it's not been this action packed. I feel like the last 6 weeks has been pretty between like my patch of grass. That's kind of where it started. And then it was like all of these things just like happened, you know?
Yeah, so that's right. So you still got your patch of grass.
I do. There's bugs on it, Carrie. I need to figure out how to keep them off of me.
Oh no. Yeah, because I know your foot got ate up the last time that we talked.
Both of my feet. So now I go out there, and my husband his name's Matt. Matt was laughing at me because now I go out there and I just like stare intently at my feet. Like I'm going out there, I'm trying to relax, but I'm like stressed out that something's gonna crawl. It's like very stressful. I'm like staring at my feet, like waiting for a bug to crawl on so I can back it off if it does. It's like it's not relaxing at all.
Yeah.
Because that was no fun. So I don't know. I did get a recipe for some natural bug repellent, but I don't know if it's gonna work, and I haven't made any yet. But it's like vanilla extract and then some like essential oils like citronella and a couple other essential oils. I might try it.
It's worth trying it just to see if it works. You never know.
Because I don't want to put chemical stuff on, you know. But I went out this morning, but yeah, I can't. Like what I like to do is go out there and like do some stretches, and then do some like squats and some lunges and a few push-ups. But it's like I can't do any of that because I have to watch my feet.
The bugs enjoy that. They're like, oh, look, grass.
I know. And my husband waters it. I think it's because it's 103 degrees here.
Exactly. They're like, ooh.
So he has to like, yeah, it's like wet and cool. I think that's why.
They're like, wee.
I know. I'm like, no, this is my grass. Get off.
Oh, man.
So,
well,
yeah.
We've already been at an hour, which is incredible. Wow. It goes by so fast. So what do you say we do this again in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, I can't guarantee so I go back to school August 5th. Okay. I go back to work, and then after that, and then I get students, I think on that Thursday, I think I have students. So I have 3 days.
Or do you want to do something? Do you want to do something perhaps maybe next Wednesday? Or, 1 week from tonight?
Well, I would say, can we maybe push it out like 3 weeks or 4 weeks?
Oh,
let me get my feet under me for school. Yeah. And then by then too, maybe I'll have made an appointment with my doctor, and my son will have started school, and some things we'll for sure have. And then you'll have had your coaching thing. And
yeah, that'll be really interesting. I am gonna bring it up to her. I just don't know how I'm gonna do it, and I just hope I don't come off as being a jerk, because I really don't intend it that way. Mm-hmm. We'll see.
Here's what I'm excited about with this doctor. I want to find out what are her ideas about cholesterol, because she's low carb, right? She's self-proclaimed that she's a low carb advocate. So like, I'm so curious to know what her outlook is on all of that stuff. Because I know what my current doctor's outlook is, which is very traditional, very LDL is bad, take a statin, so I'm like, I just am curious just to see what her philosophy is, what her thoughts are, what she thinks, what her advice for me will be. And then we'll see if I'll take it or not. I'm hoping she'll give me a CAC though, because that'll be interesting. So yeah, I'll like I said, I'll have some more updates after I get that appointment and stuff, but that's what I'm really excited to go hear, how that might differ from the traditional system.
Boy, I have a feeling there's going to be a big contrast there.
Yeah, we're going to see. So anyway, Carrie, thank you so much. And you guys out there watching, thank you so much. And look for it on our channels, because when we get the date set, you'll see it pop up in our live tabs, and we'll definitely do this again.
All right. Great to see everybody this evening. I hope you all have a great rest of your week, and we'll be seeing you again soon. You all take care. Bye-bye.